ever notice how everyone loves bees? Yes, they make great honey, and yes, they're fabulous pollinators, but I think they must have a pretty good marketing team, because wasps and hornets are also great pollinators, but they seem to have a bit of a public relations issue. When I looked up how to bring them to your yard, I found out how to bring them to your yard and kill them. So let's find out more about our fabulous little friends, all the insects that can do great things on our farm, and how to live with them in harmony. In that vein, here's the cutest picture of a hornet that I could find. They truly are great pollinators. They're also really good pest control. We had a hornet's nest over the horses, and they ate so many flies. When they moved out, we were really sad. Our fly population absolutely quadrupled. Wasps are the same. They also eat caterpillars, beetles, and crickets. So how can you get someone to come to your property? Well, you can plant trees and flowers and crops that they use either for food or shelter, such as fruit trees, fava beans, Queen Anne's lace, and forsythia. You can also offer solitary wasp species places to build their nests. Some prepare their nests above ground, and they love tubes and tunnels that only open on one side. And then their ground-dwelling cousins would benefit from you leaving a naturally occurring bare patch in your yard. Two ideas for living in harmony with these little hunters is number one, know that they do love fruit and meat, so don't plan to eat that outside if you're near their nest. And number two, stay about 6 to 10 feet away from their nest because they can get very territorial. So what other insects are helpful on your farm but may not be getting the credit they deserve? Ants. Ants turn and aerate the soil, allowing water and oxygen to get down to your plant roots. They also sometimes take seeds down into their tunnels, and they'll actually sprout and grow. Sadly, they're also great food for other organisms. So what will get those ants marching towards your farm? Well, if you don't want to share your picnic, there's certain plants they love, like sunflowers. Sunflowers have things called nectaries that the ants just adore, and then when the ants are there, they'll actually pollinate your sunflowers for you. They also love the peony flower, will pollinate it for you and protect it from other invasive bugs. Odds are you're not going to have a leafcutter ant on your farm. However, they could help you anyway. What they do is they cut up the leaves and they chew them up, and then they grow fungi on them, and then they harvest that fungi. They're little farmers. What's cool about that is their nests have like no pathogens in them. There's like no disease. And so the scientists have realized that they're actually making antibiotics, and they're discovering bacteria that we don't have access to. So they may be the inventors of our next antibiotic. Got mosquitoes? You need dragonflies or damselflies. This is a damselfly. You can tell because she's folded her wings. They will eat between 30 and hundreds of mosquitoes a day. They also devour flies and midges, which make for very happy horses. How do you get you one? You can put in a water feature. You want it to be at least 2 feet deep and have plants on the side for them to hide with. And finally, the lowly fly. As horse owners, you may be hard-pressed to think of a single good reason to appreciate the fly, but here are two. Number one, and certainly most importantly, flies and certain midges are some of the only species that pollinate the plant that makes chocolate. No flies, no chocolate. And a far less appealing reason, if it weren't for flies, we would be knee-deep in poop and dead bodies. Flies are the cleaners of our earth. They also eat household waste and divert it from going to our landfills. So our buzzy little friends are actually pretty awesome. And how do you get them? Get horses, of course. So there you are, a quick rundown of the many insects that are actually a huge boon for humans. Here are 3 quick ways that you can make a difference for all of our tiny little buzzy friends. Number 1. Stop spraying pesticides. Number 2, stop obsessing over perfectly planted flower beds and weed-free lawns. All those chemicals and all those machines really tear up the habitat for our fuzzy little friends. Number 3, focus on leaving as much of your yard naturally as possible. See if you can't leave wildflowers or open areas for your habitat. And just a quick shout out for the monarch butterfly. Their numbers have decreased 90% since 1997. All we need to do to help them is to plant milkweed in our yards. Thanks so much for joining us today. For other great tips on your property management and your horse love, please drop by our website, bridlesandbreath.com, to sign up for our newsletter and to learn about our online courses. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel.